Just want to talk some more today about some different stuff. Today, I think what I want to start with, I don't want to start with it, but I think I have to, is the murder of Charlie Kirk. And I've made my viewpoint on guns very clear on a couple of the videos. Where I've talked about the Second Amendment and how it doesn't just give everybody the right to carry guns around. But this is just more. I mean, the way the right immediately started blaming the left for the murder without any kind of evidence at all, and before they even found the shooter, it just killing me. The way that guns, divide our nation. And then when they're doing, um, when the president orders flags to be flown at half mast for somebody who, let's say he didn't like a lot of different people. So he didn't represent all people on things, and it's a total shame that what happened to him. It was horrible what happened to him, and I wouldn't have wanted it to happen to him. Now, I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't know Charlie Kirk at all. His viewpoints or anything. I mean, I had heard of him a little bit, and to be honest, I think he did kind of a good thing because he would go out there and he would at least be willing to talk to people about his viewpoints. I didn't agree with him, when I saw what they were. Like he's a religious right person who is very gun pro, pro gun, and I've never understood that. But I've never been able to find anyone that is religious right who's pro gun who's willing to discuss it with me and explain to me how it makes sense for somebody who follows Jesus, and it's all the cases. I mean, you're the religious right. I mean, they're Christian. They're not any other religion necessarily. But why they think Jesus would have been cool with guns? It just I wish I would have been able to talk to Charlie Kirk and ask him those questions. And ask and do it in a way. If he wouldn't talk over me and interrupt me. Apparently, that seemed to be something he did a lot of. But I would have been very interested to talk to him. I would love talking to him. So I'm sad what happened to him. I think it's a horrible thing and shouldn't happen to anybody. Whether I agree with him or not. Um, but but then speaking of the religious right, I did want to talk about that a little bit more too. Uh, I would love to learn from them how they can support Trump, and uh, and here's why. I mean, he's in the gray house. I mean, the White House. I mean, he made it pretty gray with some of what he's done. Um, but how can they support someone who has literally broken every single one of the Ten Commandments? And I'm sure I've broken a couple too. But I want to kind of go over Trump's on it because it's kind of interesting. You shall have no other gods before me. It's the first one. Trump's only God is himself. And maybe the dollar bill and Bitcoin now, but certainly not God. I mean him holding onto a Bible. It's no, it's we'll talk about that some more. Number two, you should not make into yourself a carved image. He literally tried to get the governor of South Dakota to put him on Mount Rushmore. you know, oh my God, it's this the definition of trying to do it. I'm sure he would love every kind of statue that you could make of him. But that violates, the second, not the Second Amendment. That's funny, but it violates, the second of the Ten Commandments. The third of the Ten Commandments: you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Um, Clearing out a peaceful protest and then posing with an upside down Bible in front of a church for a photo op. It's just screaming taking the Lord's name in vain. And then ordering Bibles from China and making and profiting on the Bibles from them. I don't know. I think he violated that one too. Number four, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You won't see Trump in church on Sunday. He's going to be on the golf course where he's most of the time anyway. He's every other week. Sunday is no different for him. Uh, yeah, he does not respect the holy day at all. Um, Number five, honor your mother and your father. The only person he honors is himself. You know, yeah, that's it. He only cares about himself. He is, he's the president narcissist. You know, you shall not murder. Now, this is one people might go, okay, well, he didn't murder anybody, even though he did say you could take a gun out on the road, and he could take a gun out and shoot people, and nobody would do anything to him. But he killed the Kurds, by moving our forces out. He killed people in COVID by the way he treated COVID. Uh, he would, he's trying desperately to rip away the Affordable Health Care Act, which will kill people. So yeah, in my viewpoint, he's a murderer. So he definitely violated that one. Um, Number seven, you shall not commit adultery, except with porn stars, right? When your wife's pregnant. Yeah, I think he's done that one too. Probably way more than what we know, which we're kind of finding out with the Epstein things. You thou shall not steal. Oh my God, this guy's the biggest crook. He is. He's got so many schemes to funnel money into his pocket. I mean, it's just in other nations, paying him money, giving him the jet, doing all these other things. Yeah, he's one of the. There are a lot of thieves out there. I would say he probably doesn't rank in the top 10 of the most successful because he's not smart enough to be as good as some of them. It's just pure, out in the open what he's doing. Um, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Well, Trump tells at least 23 known lies a day. I'm sure his neighbor isn't left out any of that. I'm sure he's lied about his neighbor plenty of times too. Um, I like this one, number 10. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. He covets everyone's wife's daughters, girlfriends, especially the young ones. He even coveted his own daughter. He's yeah. I mean, he's violated all of the Ten Commandments on that. And I'll take a step further. He's also violated all of the seven deadly sins that are out there. Pride, God, you can't get any more prideful than him. Greed, can't get more greedy than him either. Wrath, yeah, you see him just call people everything and send police after people who have just taken positions opposite of him on things. Um, Envy, yeah, he envies. Oh, he remember how he felt about Trump or about Elon Musk, having more money than him. Yeah, he's got envy, lust. We've talked about that. I mean, if it's a woman or a girl, and pretty, then he doesn't care whether they're, what the age is or anything like that. He'll lust after them. Sick guy. He's a sick guy. Gluttony. Yeah, he just everything. He's a glutton for everything. Everything has to come toward him, in him, whatever he can get. Sloth. Yeah, he's so. I mean, he won't even read the stuff that he needs to read as president. In order, for they have to give him cartoons or short things because he just doesn't do the work that he should be doing. As our president. And that's the other thing. He should be our president too. None of this. Stop calling us people who disagree with him radical leftists. And all the other names that he's calling us. We're Americans too, man. Just because you don't agree with us doesn't mean you're supposed to be our president too. Like for me as a disability, somebody that's got a disability. When you went out and when you told your nephew that all people that are disabled should just die because of the amount of money that goes to take care of us, that's just wrong. And I mean, there's way more money that we're spending way more money to take care of you and send you to golf courses, and everything else than anyone's spending on me. Nobody's spending anything on me. Um, but I do want to kind of take a turn on something though. There was something recently that Trump did that I agree with. Yeah, pretty amazing. I'm shocked too. And Robert F. Kennedy also was involved with it. shock number two. I never thought I would agree with that guy in anything. Um, but what they're talking about is they're going to make pharmaceutical companies, in their advertising, you know, be more comprehensive about all of the damages that are being caused by their products. And, instead of just saying, because in 1997, um, they're told they only had to give like some of the main side effects and then refer people to their website or something where you can look up the rest. But if you're as sick as I am of pharmaceutical advertisements, especially for me, having had Shingrix do what it did to me, and just constant deluge of Shingrix commercials, and every time I see them, I want to throw something at my TV, because of what they did to me. But they're talking about the new law being that they would have to give a more comprehensive and full disclosure of the side effects that could happen to somebody as a result of pharmaceuticals that go wrong. Like in my case here, Shingrix would have to say not just Guillain-Barré and then call mine quote unquote muscle weakness, but they'd have to actually say, transverse myelitis, which is what happened to me when I had the vaccine on things. But what's going to happen is the advertisement for pharmaceuticals are going to go away because they would have to have 4 or 5 or 10 minute commercials, of all the side effects that they have on things, and that would and for me I like that because if your pharmaceutical is any good, why should I go to my doctor and say, hey doctor, how about this pharmaceutical? Shouldn't my doctor already know that? So why am I having to ask my doctor about a pharmacy, pharmacy about a drug? And why should I have to ask my doctor? Doesn't it seem like he or she should have that information already? Why should I have to learn about it on a commercial? And the commercials all suck anyway. I hate any kind of medical commercial at all. So I'm all for it. So bring it on. I like that one there. And I like the fact that I can finally agree with them on something. So anyway, that's I'm ending kind of abruptly here, but I will talk about where I am on my short story compilation. I've been sending some of my articles out to magazines, and hoping that some of them will accept it. Amazing Stories took one of mine, and they've sent it up to their editor for final approval, so that one might go. So I'm sending it out to a lot of magazines, just the good ones, the ones that I really wanted to show on, and that'll help me sell the book hopefully to agents or anything later. So, but I did. Oh, I did get one denial. It's kind of funny. One turned it down. It was one I wrote called "Too Hot for Hell," where somebody is down in hell, and he's excited about it because he was paraplegic and now he can walk down in hell, and it was denied for being too funny by that. So if you're gonna turn me down, I like having a reason for one, and two, and I like the reason to be something like that. That it's too funny for us. I like that a lot. So I hope more aren't turned down because of that. Hopefully somebody will take it on because it's funny. So maybe I just need to find the right magazine for it. So anyway, thank you for listening, watching, agreeing or disagreeing with me. Like I said, going back to the Kirk thing, that's just wrong. We need to take control of guns. We need to stop fighting about it. And it's the right who's putting the guns into everybody's hands. So they shouldn't be getting all upset when something happens, that they contributed to, by making gun access so easy for everybody. So hopefully, something will happen as a result of this. Again, I feel sorry for the guy's family, his kids especially, and like I said, I would have liked talking to him. I would have liked to learn from him, why why Jesus would have been good with guns. So I would have been very, very interested to have a discussion with him. So I'm sorry that happened to him. Hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. So anyway, take care, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. My website, www.normcowie.com. That's Cowie. Thank you. Take care. Bye.